Oh, and welcome to the show. It is me. It is the Cyber Warrior. This is Cyber Warrior Studios. And I know you're here for Security Happy Hour. And it's going to be an amazing show. We got big things planned. And guess what? My co-host is back tonight. So it's going to be on and popping. Let's go. And we're back. And that's right. It is me. It is the Cyber Warrior. And with me, I got my co-host, my partner in crime, the one and only GeecheeThreat, Liana McCrea. How you doing, Liana?
Come on. It's Friday, baby. So that means that if we're here, we doing something right. Listen, we made it.
That we did. And it is, look, it is a day of love. It is a weekend, and we are ready to rock and roll. Now, with us today, we have a special guest. Now, he had to reschedule 2 weeks ago, but that was okay because KepTech was able to come in, slide right in, and we had a long conversation actually about the same thing we're going to talk about tonight. Because guess what? It's always good to get new perspectives on how they're dealing with shit. So, Ricardo Vasquez, how are you doing today, man?
Doing Ricardo, great. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Good.
So when you signed up to be on the show, you said you wanted to talk about cybersecurity certifications. So my question is, before we get to that, I want to know what you're doing now, and are you like mid-transition? Are you trying to break into cybersecurity? Kind of like where you're at in your career prospects.
Right now, I'm trying to break into cybersecurity. 2 years ago, a class to earn a certification in coding. Got into IT 2-3 years ago. Took the class. It was pretty intense, and I feel more with IT. I did that so I do cybersecurity. It's been in the back of my mind. You shouldn't regret it taking that. So I ended up taking the coding class. Did it. I've been searching for career change. It's been tough, and now you know what. This is just a calling. I mean, I've been thinking about it. I've been getting a lot of LinkedIn people with cybersecurity experience or backgrounds, and I've been cutting. I was up and even going here and rest about it, and I'm just like I said, I'm trying to transition hard or hopefully the call on the show now. So I'm here.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's good to have you here, and you're breaking up a little bit, man. So just so you know, there's a lot of lag. You're not hearing me right away, so there's some lag time in there, and you're breaking up. Just so you're aware. So bear with us, everybody. All right, we're gonna make this happen as we always do. You know how we roll here. But anyways, going with that though. So in this transition, there's a lot of talk about education, certifications, and the different things you can do. And you talked about going through a coding class. Now, as someone who's done some coding in his life, not heavily, I've never been a programmer. Don't get it twisted. I can't do C or anything like that. I can try. I can read some of it, but I'm no developer by any means. What has been the hardest part about breaking in? Is it the education? Is it figuring out what route you want to go? And depending on what that is, we'll kind of gear the conversation heading towards those directions. C is for cookie. Bailey got jokes.
You cut off a little bit at the end right there.
So what in your transition are you dealing with now? Because with you going through coding as you know, something that I'm able to do but not I'm not a developer by any means. Are you looking at certifications, and are you looking at different types of education? Like, what are your goals and your prospects going forward of trying to get into cyber? Hey, you're breaking up. Hey, Ricardo, if you can still hear me, go ahead and try to
I
check your internet. Make sure you're still good, because
uh,
there's a lot of delay
I kind
and you're
of
breaking up. He's still trying to talk.
Yeah, he's coming in back.
I can hear,
All right.
hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So there's a long delay between when I'm getting your signal and you're breaking up real bad. So you may want to check your internet and reload. We'll be here. We ain't going nowhere. The link is still good. Check your internet and then come back, just so we can make sure everything's good to go. Makes it hard for people to understand if it's breaking up like that. You ain't the first one we dealt with like this either. So
maybe I have too many screens now.
So, but while we're waiting on Ricardo to kind of get a little bit more solid of an internet connection, Liana, me and Kev, I know you were kind of tuned into the show 2 weeks ago while you had your things going on.
Mm-hmm.
As far as certifications, I saw a post today, and I want to get your opinion on it. Wait, is he back? I don't know.
Is he coming back?
I don't know. I'm gonna drop him out real quick. Let him fix that.
Okay.
So when it comes to certifications, what do you see as the most prevalent? Do you look at something like a resume, do you think? Or would you look more at, or not a resume, a job description, right? So if you're looking at jobs, you look at, all right, if I'm looking for a pen tester role, I'm going to look at what the prevalent certification is for those. Or do you go for what's going to give you the most value and bang for your buck?
I'm a little different. See, I'm a little different about this because I gotta go for the best bang for my buck. But also, since I'm also a career changer that came into cybersecurity, I went the same route that most people went and decided to go straight to Security Plus.
Right.
That was the best thing that I could do. So, now after I've got the Security Plus, I got to study now for my CYSA Plus and build on top of that. But, there's some people that come out the bat and they're, acting all crazy. Like, I need to get my CISSP. You got to walk before you run. God dang. Like, slow it down. And that's the other thing that kills me. Cause, even though I went and I got my Security Plus certification, there's a lot of gaps to fill. And that's the one thing that I wish that they would really break down to people when they get ready to start searching for certifications. You got to fill in the gaps. You got to get some foundational knowledge. You got to go back. You got to do some research. You might have to find some additional research, some additional supplemental knowledge to build on whatever you're studying for. I hate to say it, but depending on the type of exam that you're taking, there might not be necessarily a study resource for that type of question or that particular test out there. So, your results may vary. If I had a big pocket, I could go out there and take a couple of certifications, but baby, I'm broke. We broke out here.
No, I got a wife and 5 kids. I'm always broke. Ooh, all right, money don't run in this house.
All right. Oh, he's back.
We got him back. I saw his camera come back on, so we're gonna give this a shot again. Ricardo, real quick, let's do a test. Go ahead and say hi.
What's going on? How you doing?
All right, and it's quick. All right, that delay is gone, so we're good to go.
Okay.
All right, so and you're looking at coding, right? You're doing coding now. I'm not a developer. I was just talking to Liana and my co-host about all this stuff as far as certifications. As far as you go with you doing coding and programming and things of that nature, what certifications are you kind of striving for? Like, what are you looking towards whenever you're looking at what you're researching?
Looking at the basics, like advice of. I was looking at CompTIA, and I was doing the this one right here. Looking at that.
There it is. There it is. That's the one.
Yeah, just basic. I want to learn the behind what cybersecurity is, and then maybe, I don't know, pen tester, or I also want to know, what's the difference, hacker, like hacking and cybersecurity, is that? Because I've been looking at a dude. He's been interviewing guys with hoodies in all black in the background, and they're like real hackers, and they there you go, like that, and then the whole background is black, and they're interviewing, and they, they have their voice, and they call, I don't know what the web name is, and this guy I ran into, he has like like 3 books. Like, is that the same as legal hacking, cybersecurity? I just kind
So
of, I ran into
so
that.
there's a difference, a huge
Okay.
difference. All right. A hacker is not a malicious term. The media has made it that way.
Oh yeah.
So there are a lot of us in the industry that will say hacking is not a crime.
Okay.
Because technically it's a mindset. It's a way of life. It's things that you do. If you break things and fix them, if you want to find out the nuances of code, all these different things. If you're not malicious but still doing these things on the back end to kind of just figure out how shit works, you're a hacker.
Okay.
Hacking started, if I recall correctly, they coined the term with the MIT Model Railroad Club back in, I don't know, 70s, 80s, something like that,
Okay.
before computers were even a thing in homes. So hacking is not malicious in and of itself. Now, the people you're talking about, it may be Occupy the Web, as the hacker maker says here. He could have been doing some interviews or something like that. He refused to show his face on my stream when I interviewed him a while ago. But there are those that are in, we call them black hat hackers.
Okay.
And there are some people that still argue that they don't like hats and all these different colors and blah, blah, blah. Either way, we're going to make it simple. Black hat hackers are the malicious ones. They're the ones that the media claims are hackers. Really, they're cyber criminals. That's what the fuck they are. They're criminals. They're not hackers. Quit giving us a bad name. Not all hackers are bad. And there's a gray hat, which kind of toes the line. They help people, but then sometimes do bad shit. Sometimes for good reasons. Sometimes for whatever reasons. They kind of toe the line. And then there's your white hat that is fully ethical and will only ever do anything under a contract and under scope of work and rules of engagement and everything else like that. So, and then some people have other colors. They exist. There's other colors out there. Those are the 3 primary ones.
Okay.
But as far as that goes, though, as long as you're learning is the important thing. Now, to Liana's point when we were talking earlier, that Security Plus is going to give you so much foundational knowledge, it is unreal.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, wow. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, absorb it. Take it in. Understand it. And I don't care about the certification itself. Now, a lot of companies will. It is a great way to get your foot in the door. I got nothing against certifications. If you look at my signature or half the shit I have out there on LinkedIn, I've got a damn alphabet after my name. I have nothing against certifications, but it's all on if you retain the material. If you're getting a cert just to pass the test and dump the information, you are no good to anybody.
Yeah, you got to keep learning. That's my thing. I love to learn, and I like to feed my brain, and that's why I run into a lot of guys here and say, look, just as long as you continue to learn, don't stop learning. And that's my motto. I don't want to stop learning. Now that I'm gonna jump into this, I want to learn and observe it. And it's like, of course it's not gonna be easy, but I want to learn it. I mean, if I have to take index cards and just continue to read them every day, or books, that's what I want to do. So that's where I wanna go from here, from cybersecurity. Learn the information.
Yeah, definitely. Liana, I saw you come off of mute. I know you got some questions, some things you want to say. Go ahead, get at it, girl.
No, I just want to commend you on actually taking the time out to print the objectives, because there's many people that sit down and they're like, I want to go and be a hacker. I want to go past Security Plus. And then they're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what I'm studying. The objectives are your best friend. They literally are giving you everything that you need to know. You're actually taking the time to study it, to look at it, to say, okay, these are the things that I need to know. Because at the end of the day, if you know how to do these things, forget the test. Can you actually do these things? There are people that come out there all the time that don't have their Security Plus, and they can wow people because they can actually show and explain and demonstrate these actual things. But you do want to get that certification. You're doing it the right way. You're doing it the right way.
Awesome. Does cybersecurity have little coding? I've seen that too. I read it. I mean, I don't mind that. I mean, does it have coding involved in cybersecurity?
You're on mute. Here we go. You're on mute.
Shit, I never mute myself, and I actually fucking do this time. All right. So, anywho, as my other co-host who used to join me on a weekly basis, Eric Bellardo, the one and only Cyber Papa, would tell me and tell everybody, cybersecurity is a career field. It is not a job. So depending on which route you go in that career field will dictate whether or not you actually need programming. For those who want to argue, GRC is cybersecurity. Do you actually have to know how to code or write code or anything like that in GRC? Hell no. You need policy, procedure, frameworks, NIST,
compliance,
PCI, compliance, like all this, CMMC. That's what you need for GRC. Blue team depends on which job you take on the blue team side, because if you do something like malware, reverse engineering malware, sometimes forensics can get into it. And even some of your other sim jobs and things like that, you'll deal with scripting and automation and, doing things that way. Your red teamers, as a pen tester, kind of. As a red teamer, I hope you do, because you should really learn how to, if not write your own exploits, write your own scripts to automate things so that you're not using Metasploit and things like that that'll immediately get picked up by antivirus or EDR, because Metasploit actually releases all of their signatures to EDR vendors. So unless you are encrypting and trying to obfuscate your payloads, your EDR vendors pick it right up. Mimikatz gets picked up almost immediately. Go ahead and drop it onto a machine with CrowdStrike and you're screwed, because you're not going to get anywhere with it. It's going to tell you no. So programming comes in handy. And one of the things that I learned from one of the, I don't know if it was Gray Hat Hacking or one of the multitude of books I picked up on, being a pen tester and a red teamer and stuff, was learning to script and write your own exploits or your own automation techniques and code means it's your own signature. So that means it's not in any virus database or any signature database unless you've already used it and somebody has submitted it. That is why when you're doing a lot of your research from the red team perspective, they will tell you anything you create, do not upload the virus total or any of those databases, because guess what? Now that signature gets passed out. That signature now is an EDR and you can never reuse it.
Okay. Another thing also I ran into, do you have to learn Linux? Because I printed something else too. I got all my notes on here, so I'm writing.
Hey, no, that's great.
I love it. I love
Linux essentials. I mean, I don't know.
Liana, go ahead. Give your perspective on this one. I'll let you run.
Listen.
See, this is another thing from Cisco. I mean, is Cisco a good one from Linux? I mean, I printed all this stuff out.
Look, Liana ain't been here in a few weeks.
I'm just enjoying this, because he's like, I print. What have you not printed out? Let me ask you that question.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just learning to see what I want to sit down and I feel like, okay, I took the coding class. I liked it, but I want to go here. I don't want to waste my time now. Mm-hmm. So now I want to be sure, that's why I'm here. And I want to be sure, okay, look, this is what I'm going to do, That's why I printed.
I don't blame you. What I'll definitely tell you for sure is you definitely got to learn Linux. You want to learn Linux. It's going to help you. As you go through, especially with the Security Plus, as you go through some of those objectives, you're going to find a lot of programs and a lot of frameworks that you've never heard of. Okay. Take your time and actually take your time and research them, and play around with them, because it's one thing to know it, because it's one thing to know it when you sit down and you're like, oh, I know what that is, I know the definition. But if you actually know how it works and you can actually get in that mindset of being in a real life situation, you're going to be a lot better off than somebody that's just hammering stuff like, oh, I need to know this. Oh, I need to know this. The mindset of knowing it and memorizing it's two different things. Know it because you want to apply it to what you're learning. But one thing I do want to caution you on, take your time, but also ask a lot of questions, because coding is one thing, but again, depending on your journey, you may or may not need it. So you don't want to waste your time, but there's so many different options. There's so many different ways that you can go. So as you explore, talk to different people in the industry as well. You know, you might figure out that you might want to be on red team, might figure out you want to be on blue, might want to do purple, but Linux, no matter where you go, hell yes, learn it. It's going to be your best friend. You're going to want to learn it. Trust me. It doesn't matter which distribution you start with. Just get your hands into it. Get your hand on a no starch press book. Linux, I think it's Linux Essentials or Linux Essentials for Hacking. When I figure out the name of the book, I'll link it to you. I know
Linux
for a fact.
Basics for Hackers, and I have an entire 16-chapter playlist on my channel, and KevTech is starting a new one. The only chapter I didn't do was the chapter on Python, and that was chapter 17, and that was because I could not get around to figuring out how to edit a video and make it worthwhile for someone to watch. But I do have the first 16 chapters. So yes, Linux Basics for Hackers by Occupy the Web, No Starch Press, and he was on my show a few months back.
Occupy the Web. That's the guy I was the guy with the hoodie. I think that's his
OTW.
name.
Yeah, he has his own site. He does his own thing.
Yes.
Great guy, great person. Knows his shit. He really does.
Awesome. So just basics of Linux, basically. I just kind of just learn it then.
Grow from there. Anybody will tell you. So if you've ever heard of KevTech, he is doing. He just picked up Linux Basics for Hackers recently. He is a help desk guy, a system support guy, but he's learning Linux now. I keep telling him he knows security and doesn't realize it. Great dude. I love him. I mess with him all the time. But now he's doing Linux. Here's the thing. Knowing your operating systems and how they communicate, how they work, how they function, does nothing but help your case. I can sit here and run Linux from a user and semi-admin perspective. There's a lot that I can do with it. Some of it I'd have to re-research because it's been a few years since I've done it. But I'm still proficient in it. I can still use Linux. I can install, uninstall, purge, do a ton of different things. Whereas some people are so afraid of an operating system that isn't exactly plug and play. And that's the kicker, is certain variations of the distributions aren't. So like I was running Parrot Sec or Parrot Home, I forget which one it was, as my daily driver for a while. And because even though it runs on Debian as the underlying OS, because the way HP, because at the time I had an HP printer, did its install for its drivers, it was not installing the drivers. I couldn't print because it was looking for either Debian in the OS name or Ubuntu. And even though Debian kernel was there, like, or not kernel, but the underlying operating system of Debian was there. But if you did uname -a, it said Parrot whatever. So it was like, I can't install. I don't know what to do. I don't feel like troubleshooting this and redoing the code. I quit. So that's when I went to like Ubuntu or something else. I eventually shifted over to Ubuntu when I was using it daily. But knowing these things helps you learn, helps you figure it out. And here's the thing with Windows. Windows has ported PowerShell to Linux now. And Linux and Windows itself now have Linux. You have the WSL, Windows Subsystem for Linux.
I think I heard that, yeah.
Yes, knowing Linux, knowing Bash, knowing
Bash, PowerShell. We use a lot of PowerShell in the coding class. I just gotta go and refresh myself on it.
Yeah, that's your best friend.
Yeah.
Oh, so we got one here. All right, we got a question for the question from the audience. DQ wants to know thoughts on PowerShell. Y'all don't want to hear my thoughts.
I fell in love with pandas more than PowerShell. I mean, I don't know what it was. It was easier for me. I don't know if you guys know that program, Pandas, but
I know it as far as a Python import.
PowerShell to me was kind of difficult, to be honest. But it's there. I know a little bit of it, so I just gotta go in there and refresh my memory.
GeecheeThreat, what's your take on PowerShell?
Y'all want to take me back to college? Back to a dark time. A dark place. Golly. Ooh. Man. Ouch. That's the best way I could say it.
So PowerShell, I think PowerShell has a lot of great features, has a lot of great things. It's extremely powerful and can do so many amazing things.
Oh yeah,
especially
very powerful.
As an administrator for like Active Directory or anything like that. Within your domain, PowerShell can automate and script so much shit. My problem with it is also a huge security threat. Because here's what happens. And I have seen this in certain places. We are not going to name where. But what they will do is they will say you were no longer allowed command. So CMD, the command prompt. But hey, we're going to leave PowerShell here for you. Homie, you realize I could copy and paste some code into there, and or even just run a few lines of code, and I automatically have admin privileges, even though you told me I'm only domain. So yeah, PowerShell had, especially back when this happened. Oh, Charles, all right, hold up. Charles knows what I'm talking about if he sees this. All right, Charles, if you hear me, which means you probably know which area I'm talking about that does this bullshit. But one of the benefits of PowerShell that I found out later on was that you can take something like invoke web request, which is a whole command with all its subsets and options and things like that, and smash it together as IWR. I did not know that until probably about 2 years ago, give or take. And so you don't necessarily have to learn the full command or the full write out. You just have to learn 3 letters and be like, oh, okay, I could do all this and know what I'm doing. So yeah, PowerShell, if you can learn PowerShell, extremely powerful, especially when pen testing Windows systems. Just going to put that out there. And that's one of the things in cybersecurity. So the OSCP, the Pen Test Plus, or not Pen Test Plus, I want to say it's the PNPT, maybe the EJPT. There's a few pen test certs out there that are now doing more with Active Directory and domain infrastructure and things of that nature. With that, knowing PowerShell and understanding or being able to use something like Windows Commando, which is essentially Mandiant FireEye, their offensive security distribution for Windows. That's legitimately what it is. It is an offensive security distribution that installs Metasploit, Edma, a ton of shit, and it's for Windows. Yeah. So when you're dealing with Active Directory infrastructure, something like the OSCP, which they make you use Kali because it's offensive security. I've never taken the EJPT or the PNPT or whatever the other certs are. I haven't taken them, but because they're Active Directory related, Windows gives you so many more features to interact with other Windows systems that if you can master Linux and the offensive security distros or tools, at least of there, and the Windows tools, and Charles got it right here, living off the land. That's what you can do. If you learn how to use the Windows tools, you never need the offensive security side or the Linux side. They help, but you don't necessarily need it. You can use a lot of these tools now, especially with WSL and everything else on Windows. You can use them right from your Windows machine.
So you said Windows tools?
Yeah, there's so many Windows tools that you can use from an offensive security perspective.
Okay.
So I'm going to put this actually to everybody in all the chats right now. Windows Mando by Mandiant. Look that up. I might find a link and throw it into the description later. But yeah, it's essentially a PowerShell script that just runs and installs a ton of shit. I will warn you, make sure that your EDR, your antivirus, whatever you're using, is actually not monitoring your virtual machine at that point, or the network on your virtual machine. because it stopped a lot of my shit and had to go in there and put in that.
So it was blocking the URL web.
Oh yeah, I was blocking everything.
Because,
Everything I tried to download. Bitdefender was not having it. It was not happy with me that day.
my wife tries to go in there, and she works for the school system, and it blocks school systems URL. So I have to go in there, and I have access on the phone, so I have to go in there.
That's because school systems are malicious.
Yeah. So so she
Their
goes, hey, they
networks are
blocked me. They
already
blocked
prone.
me. So I have AT&T. I'm just gonna say I have AT&T fiber, and it blocks a lot of stuff from us.
Oh, dude, any residential network now blocks
Yeah.
port stuff.
Yeah, so I gotta go in and release it.
Nice.
It was good. Mm-hmm.
So with Security Plus, and here's the thing about certifications. And Liana's right. You need to learn the foundations. You need to actually learn the material. Okay. All right. I tell everybody that wants to get into cybersecurity, you don't necessarily need a job in IT. But if you can research and watch and learn videos from people like KevTech who teach you the system administration side and setting up labs and so much else that is foundational knowledge, then you can take that forward, learn those systems on your own. And then when you're doing security, you now understand, okay, networks talk via ports, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go through port 22 for SSH, port 443 for HTTPS. Port 8080 because some jackass decided to move their web server to 8080 instead of port 80. You know, all these different things. And you understand how this works. And then with your Active Directory side, now you can learn, once you learn how to set up a domain, you can learn how to fix it and break it and how to monitor it.
Okay.
And until you learn those things, it makes it very difficult. If you know nothing about domain infrastructure and you know nothing about networks, jumping right into being a pen tester or a blue teamer, you're going to be lost because you're going to look at logs and you're going to get an alert and you're not going to know what the fuck to research. So that's where things like A+, Net+, Sec+, the knowledge that goes with them comes in handy. Cool. That's where studying from people like KevTech comes in handy.
Okay.
Because it teaches you so much that you can sit there now and when you apply for a job, say, yeah, I set up labs, I have my own domain, I do all these different things. You don't have to have the enterprise experience, but you have experience. And it helps you get into the career field and get into the path you want.
Yeah, because you get your hands dirty. You're doing it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like to do that. Get my hands dirty, trial and error and challenge and just, learn it because, you have to do it.
And write about it. That's the other thing. Don't just learn and don't just be a lifelong learner. But what you want to do, share what you're learning along the way. You want to share your mistakes. You want to share what you're up to. Because guess what? There's more than one way. Remember, there's more than one way to get to a solution. So you might have thought about doing something one way and somebody checks out your blog and they're like, ooh, Ricardo, I think I found something. I may have found something that might be more efficient. And guess what? They're going to share that. And then guess what? That's going to get your foot in the door. People are going to get to know you. Then people are going to start checking you out. There's a whole process to it, and I can speak about it coming from the career changer process. It can be very difficult, but not only being a lifelong learner, don't learn in a bubble. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to fail. First attempt in learning. Get your hands dirty and talk about it because there's other people that are out there that are wondering. There's people out here every day that are like, ooh, I want to learn this, but they never go and learn it. But guess what? If you're talking about it, they'll come and learn it from you.
Yeah, and Charles just put here, more jobs are asking for a portfolio.
Portfolios.
Yep.
Yeah.
That goes right in your portfolio.
This is where learning public is becoming so huge. With the advent of social media years ago, it was all personal, but then LinkedIn came around and it was like, okay, let's post news articles and discuss these topics. Now there's, hey, I have these certifications. LinkedIn now allows you to write blogs on their, social media. So now you can use your LinkedIn and do write-ups of the stuff you're learning. You're learning Security Plus, great. Write about what you're learning. Don't go against their terms of service or anything like that and write about other shit, but what you're learning in your studies, what you're kind of finding out about the different topics.
Okay.
Maybe you go for the blue team level 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you decide you want to do something like blue team. BTL1 is an amazing certification, a lot of knowledge there. Hey, I'm learning about Splunk and this, and this, and I found out you could do this with this. Hey, I built a lab with this information and these domains, and yet I'm having an issue. But look, this is what I did to troubleshoot it and fix it, and
Okay.
things like that. That gives you so much more credibility than just saying, "Hey, I know this."
No.
Prove it. And,
Right.
and
You have to prove it. Yeah.
and people talk about gatekeepers, and I had a long conversation with someone probably about a year or two ago now, and he goes, "Oh, by saying prove it, you're a gatekeeper." No, homie. I cannot look at your resume and know that you know this information. I cannot look at LinkedIn and know that that certification isn't just paper. In today's world, if I have to give you a hands-on assessment that's going to get you to the final interview, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that so that I know you know what you say. Or I'm going to ask you questions about the certifications you have of topics that should be, knowledge that you already have.
Mm-hmm.
I did that shit in the Army. I would ask people if they came back and said, "Oh, I got Security Plus. Cool. Tell me what port 443 is." I don't know. Then you're fucking useless to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's stuff that these certifications, the only reason people start hating them, no matter what they are, is because people are using test dumps and simply going out there, passing the test by going to a boot camp that only teaches you the test. And they'll pass the test and then forget everything they learned.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, they probably didn't learn anything anyways, but still, they learned enough to pass and then went on with their day. And so when it comes to certifications, that just shows me that A, you're able to pass a test. Great. That means you can at least retain information, even if it's for a week, 2 weeks, or a limited time. But now I want to know you can retain it longer. I'm going to ask you questions. And I'm going to sit there and say, "Okay, cool. You have a Security Plus. Can you tell me what these things are? Can you answer these questions?" Because if not, or if you can't sit there and tell me, "Hey, look, I know it has to deal with X, Y, and Z, but I would need to look up a more definitive answer," that's okay. But you have to at least know the basis of what it's founded upon. And that's the important thing. You could tell me 443 has to do with the web and you believe it's HTTPS. Cool. If I ask you what HTTPS is and you can't give me a definitive answer, dude, I can work with that. I can't work with someone who I got a Security Plus and ask them what 443 is, and they don't even know it has to deal with websites. That's what I'm like.
Yeah.
I want to beat you with my stick right here.
Especially you get your hands dirty and learn it and go from there.
Mm-hmm. And knowing these ports helps you because whether you're a red teamer or a blue teamer, as a blue teamer, you know certain ports are encrypted. You understand that there's going to be certain information that you can't see. So there's going to be spikes in traffic in a different way. You have to analyze the flow of data. Whereas as a red teamer, you want to know what you can send over encrypted and know nobody's going to try to take a look at it. So if I've got to encrypt something, I'm going to send it over SSH or I'm going to send it over 443 because you left the ports wide the fuck open for me. So I'm going to use them. And 443 has to be left open now if you're allowing external web access because everything's HTTPS.
Okay. Awesome.
Wait, someone said something about a ninja. I got some banner. Which
Ninja.
one? Oh, I think he's talking about the binary one that I have right here. Charles, where can I buy that banner on my right, your left with the ninja? It's actually a hacker binary one. I think I got it from Redbubble or Amazon. I don't know who bought it. Me and my wife. We bought it when we were doing my office. But yeah, it's all about how you apply the information. Everything you learn can be used in multiple ways. The OSCP, as much it was raved about, It took me 2 times to pass it.
Mm.
Probably one of the most bullshit things I ever did in my life.
Wow.
I've done pen tests. You don't
Mhm.
do that shit in 24 hours and write a report 24 hours later. You have a week, and maybe a
Mhm.
week for a report.
Wow.
If anybody gives you less time than that, then you've got a vulnerability assessment where you're running Nessus or Insight or Nexpose or some shit like that, and saying, okay, here's your vulnerabilities. A true pen test, it takes at least a week, 5
Mhm.
days, 5 business days, and
Okay.
then another week to write the report. So to do it a day, and you have to like break into 5 machines or 4 machines or whatever it is to be able to do it. I understand the concept, but it's not real life. It's not what you're going to be doing on a regular basis. And that
Okay.
report is vital.
Mm.
You going to talk about CTFs? Oh, we could talk about some CTFs, Scott. Oh, wait, well, since we are on certification, Scott, we'll get to yours, but DQ asked another question. I'm gonna let Ricardo and Liana take this one. Pen Test Plus versus CEH thoughts. I'm gonna give my opinion, but it's biased and it's because of the organization, not because of the certification.
Pen test versus CEH. I need more context. You can't just throw that out to me. DQ. I need you to give me some context. Come back to me on what basis.
I'm gonna give you some context of my own.
Bet.
Which one do you think would help accelerate a career more? Get that foot in the door.
I might go I might be the unpopular opinion, and that's okay. But honestly and truly, Pen Test Plus. Pen Test
Yep.
Plus. Yeah.
I'm gonna give my point. Ricardo, have you seen
And I
either
got
of
my
these
zesty
certifications?
reasons too. So hey.
Me and you are gonna talk, Liana. We're gonna bring it up. I got some. Ricardo, have you seen these 2 certifications?
I seen them when I was searching through CompTIA. I've seen those, and I've been seeing a lot of saying the pen test has become very popular, and that's the only. That's the only knowledge that I have through that, and I kind of go through the content to see if I can understand it. But like you mentioned earlier, if I don't learn, certain steps, I'm not gonna, this gonna be lost. I'm gonna be lost if I try to take a pen test certification.
So I'm gonna give my thoughts on this real quick. Currently, the market certification is CEH. Currently, but here's this thing: EC Council put a bad taste in my mouth. I have seen them doing too much shady shit and stealing people's blogs and posts and write-ups and things like that and taking credit for it. And then when they were called out on it, gave some, oh, I'm sorry, it won't happen again type fucking excuse bullshit,
It was
whatever.
bullshit. That's what it
And
was.
did it again.
Bullshit. Exactly.
Fucking did it again. I think it was Alyssa Miller that called them out initially.
Yeah, it was Alyssa. It was spicy.
So big deal. Yeah, it got huge. So I had a CEH V8. I refused to renew it after all that shit went down with the EC console. I wasn't dealing with them anymore. Which is why Charles put this up: EC Council and Ethics. But yes, it still holds the market share on today's economy for the job economy. Pen Test Plus is making waves. Here's the thing about both of them: they are multiple choice tests. They're not hands-on. They're not practical. They are literally know the tool, what the readout of the tool is going to be, and do it. Now, the Pen Test Plus may have changed because CompTIA is doing a lot of big things and trying to make their certifications more usable in the market. So even the Security Plus has changed a lot since I got it for a lifetime back in 08. The A Plus has changed, the Net Plus. Excuse me. So the Pen Test Plus may be a little more practical. I don't know. I never took it. But it's still an entry-level cert. So if you're trying to get your foot in the door, I would start with the Pen Test Plus.
Okay.
Personally, I would throw CEH out the window and not give a fuck. I would start with the Pen Test Plus and then show your capabilities through write-ups, blogs, Hack the Box, Try Hack Me, all these different methodologies and ways of doing things. And then eventually, if you want to get the EJPT, the PNPT, the EPT, or maybe your company that you work for wants to play for SANS and get you their pen test certifications, please don't save up 20 grand and take it yourself. We're going to be fighting. There's better money than paying for a certification like SANS on your own. You know, things like that, then go for it. But it's more the knowledge you get from it. Doing it. When I went for my SANS certifications back in 2015, I think it was, I knew a lot of the material already. And at the time, I got my GSEC, GCIH, GCED, and GPYC. Actually, that came a little after the courses because it was a beta certification. And everybody asked me how I knew this. I had already been spending probably 4 or 5 years working on Kali Linux, Hack the Box, and breaking into my own labs and doing my own shit. That's how I knew it. I didn't know it because I worked doing it. Half my jobs were help desk, desktop support, or some other bullshit like that. Network administration, system administration. I knew it because I was studying it and learning it on my own. That's how I passed those tests.
Okay.
But I will say this, and this is something me and Rebecca talked about a few months back. I love Rebecca. I'm glad she's here tonight. Rebecca Fisher in the audience. Thank you. So is CW InfoSec and a bunch of other people that have already put up on the screen. But where is it? Learn to write. It is one of the top skills in cybersecurity. That skill alone is huge. There are so many people that can't write a report. And if you cannot articulate the good, like, say, for instance, my pen test reports that we write for the company I work for, we give the positives, the negatives, the findings, and how to fix those findings, but they are articulated in such a way that anyone from an executive to a technical person can understand it. And so it's all on how you write and how you articulate your thoughts. If you are not able to do this, and anybody who's watched my show over the past 100, and I think I'm up to like 7 episodes, knows I swear more than anything. But when I write, my speech is completely different because I have to articulate my thoughts in a way that other people will understand. I can't use slang. I can't use terms. I can't use shorthand. It is literally written out, sometimes aggravatedly enough, kindergarten style, writing with freaking crayons. If you got to break it down that way, you got to break it down that way. But you have to understand how to do all these things. So definitely one of the less known things is the ability to write. Because in pen testing and red teaming, you got to write reports all the time.
I think I have a book on my Amazon list. Learn how to write or something like that. I'm gonna look it up and when I finish this show. But yeah,
I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you right now, Ricardo. Key to writing when it comes to documentation: 7th grade level. If you can read and write to a 7th grade level, no matter who is reading the documentation, no matter what the documentation is, I don't even give a shit if it's not in cybersecurity. 7th grade level. That way, everyone can understand it.
I wasn't sure if it was 7th or 8th. I knew it was middle school, but I wasn't sure if it was 7th or 8th.
I want to say Gerald said 7th, and that's pretty much the basis that I've been running with. But 7th to 8th, either or. Listen, 7 to 8, go that route. If you try to do anything fancy, avoid the colloquialisms. Don't try to do all that long verbose shit. That's the other thing. Exactly. Keep it simple, stupid. Thank you, Rebecca. This is why we love Rebecca.
I love when people know that acronym. Not everybody does.
Keep it simple, stupid. Trust me. It's going to help you. It's going to help you, and it's going to help the people that you're helping to teach behind you.
Okay.
That's awesome. That's what it's about.
And here's the thing about learning is you should be able to teach it.
Okay.
Exactly.
Because then the people you're teaching will teach you.
I love to teach it. I love to teach back when I learn something.
Yeah. So if you can sit down with someone, whether it's a kid, like I don't know if you have kids, Ricardo, but maybe
I have 2 daughters.
Yeah. Then sit down, teach them what you know. And look, a lot of people don't realize this or don't want to admit it. Our kids sometimes know more than we do.
Yeah.
You could have been in this field 15, 20 years, and I guarantee you sit down with one of your kids, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, Daddy, I already know how to do this shit. Oh yeah, Mommy, I got this." And it's like, "All right, can you teach me how you did that?" I've done it. I have straight up looked at my son and been like,
"Help me.
Can you teach me how you did this shit? Because I'm fucking lost right now, homie." It's like, "Oh yeah, Dad, I got it. Here you go." Cell phones
Kids are amazing.
That's true.
Dude.
Yeah, that's true.
So we got 10 minutes at the top of the hour, but it's okay. Go lower in fifth, like the U.S. in the military. Like,
hey,
that's how I knew Charles knew what I was talking about. But he's right. Military, yeah. Go, dude. Come on. If you're a Marine, that's like kindergarten. Let's get it straight. Just don't give them the crayons. They'll eat them all. But my son, at like, I don't know, when droids first came out, so that was 2006, maybe 2005. By the time he was like 2, so he was born in 08. So by the time he was like 2, so about 2010, this kid knew how to use an Android, unlock my mother-in-law's phone, and get her to her pictures before she ever did.
My God.
At like 2 or 3 years old. Homie knew more about that phone than everybody but me. And I'm like,
damn.
Fuck, I'm screwed. I had conversations with people at high school and middle school level talking about VPNs already.
Wow.
Not even out of high school yet. I'm talking freshmen, 8th grade and 7th grade, talking to me about like, hey, if I use a VPN, can my mom and dad see what I do?
What? Because
they're researching your computer, they can see everything.
Yeah, they're researching it. That's what it was. They're getting their hands dirty.
But they knew the term, and that's what's important, is knowing, okay, and then learning that, okay, not everything is completely secure. There's always a way. Hey, if I use in private mode or incognito mode or whatever, can mom and dad do da-da-da? Homie, if I get a hold of your computer, I can find everything. Oh, shit. Yeah. Just because you use that doesn't mean somebody with the knowledge can't find it. So, it's all about learning. Talk to your kids. And I guarantee you, some of them will teach you some shit that you never knew. You'd be looking at it like, they'd be like, oh yeah, I got to run. My son was telling me how he got to run his Chromebook for school.
Damn.
This was like 2-3 years ago, back when in our old house. But he was like, oh yeah, me and my buddy sat there and we're like, we got to the terminal and we're doing. I was like, son of a bitch, kid, you're gonna get me in so much trouble. Keep at it.
Right.
That's a good parent-teacher conference to have, though. Hey.
Yeah.
Oh man, hey, maybe your security should be better. I don't know what to tell you, homie.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about learning, my next question is, what do you guys are subscribing to, magazines or what type of knowledge, like books? Because I've been saving all kind of books in cybersecurity and this and that, but the magazines I don't see out there too much. I see magazines like mostly online magazines instead of pay. Because I'm more old school. I'm more of I want a book. So,
No Starch Press is your friend.
They're
huge, and so is
okay.
Fuck, Humble Bumble.
Humble
Bumble will allow you to buy like 10 to 15 PDF books, sometimes less, sometimes more, depending on what the deal is.
I've seen that
for like $10-15.
Like just download the PDFs. Okay.
Yep, they're a big one. They do a lot of deals, a lot of things to get people knowledge and for a limited cost. They get the rights to the book, they sell it, and it's all PDFs. Okay. But for me personally, I have a ton of No Starch Press. I have a ton of just random books. Like I will go to Barnes and Noble and find cybersecurity books, like hacking books and blue team books and Linux books and Windows books, and just buy them. And then depending on what topic I want to learn that week or month or year or whatever, I'll start reading it. And it's just because when you're an endless learner, you buy books from everything and you're just like, you know what? I want to do Python this week or month or whatever. Let me pick this up and start doing everything. I got Learn Python the Hard Way 3 from Barnes and Noble. Python 3, just so it's the better understanding.
Okay.
Let me think about
So
this. Hold on. Wait. There's one good book that I have to recommend because if I don't recommend it, I'm going to hell. Tribe of Hackers by Marcus
yes,
Carey. You got to
yes,
get that
yes.
book. If you don't do
Tribe of
anything else,
Hackers.
Tribe of Hackers by Marcus Carey. And then there's a red version, there's a blue version, and there's a green version. But just start
Yep.
out with just the general Tribe of Hackers by Marcus Carey. Take your time, go through it, get that book. Get
Yep.
it.
He's amazing.
He's
I gotta get him on
amazing.
the show still.
He was here's the funny thing about Marcus Carey.
Tribe of
When I
Hackers.
first started to think about coming to cybersecurity, do you know he's the very first person that I reached out to?
Was he?
He was the very
Dude,
first
dude's
person that I
fucking
reached out to. Dude is amazing. Okay. You got to get him on the show. You got to get him on the show.
I do. I told him I was going to, and then like things kind of fell through. I had a bunch of other guests lined up, and
Gotta
so
get
him and Gerald. So what I'm thinking is, so I got 5 minutes up to the top of the hour. We'll get some final thoughts here in a minute. But what I was thinking is, because I want to say, let me look at my calendar. Yes. So December 30th, everybody should have off. It's the day before New Year's Eve.
Mhm.
So I want to do a huge show that day for my New Year's Eve show. So we can either do it the 30th or 31st. I'm thinking just keep it on Friday, do it the 30th.
Right.
I want to get Gerald Auger on, Marcus Carey,
Ooh.
and a few other people. I got to get some new people on. So we're going to find some new people to bring on the show with them.
Okay.
So we're going to need GRC, we're going to need red team, and we're going to need blue team. I'm thinking one of each. And we bring them all on the show December 30th.
Ooh, a power pack episode. I'd love that.
Mhm.
That's gonna be a hell of a show. Woo!
Get questions answered and things happening.
Yep.
So Marcus Carey, I do got to get him on. So I'm going to reach
Yeah,
back
you
out
got
to
to
him
come
on
on,
Twitter.
man. You got to get Marcus. Like, come on.
Yeah.
That if you don't get any other book, if you don't do any other book, get that book.
Yep.
And treat it
Tribe
like
of
your
Hackers.
child.
I'm looking at my
It's a
list
good
right now.
book,
I don't know if I
man.
have it on here, but
It's a
Tribe
good
of
book.
Hackers,
Okay,
and the
I'll
other
put
one I
it in
would
my
recommend
Tribe of Hackers.
if you're looking at getting into red team and pen testing is the Hacker Playbook.
Yes.
There's 3 volumes out
the
for
Hacker
it.
Playbook.
Mhm.
Yes. Now here's the
The
deal with it.
Hacker Playbook.
You will not learn anything from that book besides methodology. He tells you
Methodology.
what tools to use or what tools he used. It's on you to learn the tools. But that's the
Okay.
beauty of it.
Methodology tool.
Because then you can look at it and go, oh, he used this. Now I got to figure this out. So it
Mhm.
gives you points like, all right, let me bookmark this. Let me go and learn this, tool or technique or whatever, and then come back
Yeah.
and keep going through the process. And those 3 books, I can't tell you, when I was beginning my pen testing career, look, I went through them, and first pen test I picked up, I was like, what was the first thing you did, homie? Let me figure this shit out. Brian Levine. All right, and we got one last thing here from Rebecca. Brian Levine is good to follow if you want to read about litigation within data and cyber law.
Ooh.
I
never
wish
heard
I
of
got my
Brian.
law degree.
Oh,
I wish I could afford my law degree because cyber law would be huge right now.
That sounds very
Cyber law is
interesting.
awesome.
So, but hey,
That sounds
before we
pretty cool,
go,
yeah.
we are at 7:58, and we do got a lot of things going on this evening. Ricardo, give us your final words before I go to Liana.
Oh wow! Say huge thanks to you guys for hosting me live and all the knowledge you shared with me and the audience out there and the audience commenting. Thank you for all the audience too out there. I'm gonna continue to learn and like I said, it's a calling now because I'm here and I've been thinking back in my head. You know what? I got to do it. I mean, got to get my hands dirty, learn and go from there and hopefully and like you said, Liana, share my thoughts and what I'm learning, what mistakes I'm doing and learning from there. So lots of learning here in this good hour here. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, definitely. And look, I'm gonna be honest with you. We had a lot of new people in chat, so I don't know if it was you. I don't know if it was Liana. I don't know if maybe I started actually showing up on LinkedIn. I don't fucking know what it was, but so many new people in chat. So I want to thank everybody for being there. Liana, give us your final thoughts, girl.
What do we got for final thoughts? Be a lifelong learner. Learn out loud. Do not be afraid to reach out to people. Ask questions. I know it sounds crazy and I know it sounds cliche. I love you, Scott. You know, I know it sounds really cliche when it says, when they tell you to reach out to people and, you know, there's no such thing as a dumb question. There really is no such thing as a dumb question. And you know what? Some of my best contacts have been by just reaching out to people. I know plenty of people that are in the industry. We've gotten to talk just because I reached out and I had a question. And I could have sat there and been really afraid of like, ooh, I'm not going to reach out to this person. Screw that. Sometimes you got to act like you're the only person in the room. Get to that person. You want a little piece of that knowledge because guess what? It's going to make you a better person. They can give that time back to you, give you a little bit of your time. And then guess what? It makes both of you guys better people, makes our community a better place. So don't stop learning, learn every day. Take your time with it. Don't rush it. You got it.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. Like I said, thank you, Derek and Liana, for this. Pretty awesome.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. And look, hey, it's my pleasure. This show is all about bringing new people to the fold, bringing them in, let them know that they belong here. All right, everybody.
Awesome.
I don't care.
Everybody.
I don't care who the hell you are. Come on this show, grab a beer, grab your favorite drink. I don't care if it's water, and let's get at it. Now, saying that, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I very rarely say that during an episode, but I will say it now. Come back after the episode is over. Like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you get that in. And share this in any other episode that you enjoy. I've got over 100 episodes. You will find so many people that can give you so much knowledge. So please share those episodes. Watch them yourself. Make sure you can learn, grow with us, and help make us better. The more comments we get, the more things we get, the more people get out there. All right. That is so huge. Also, this is an audio podcast. That's down in the description below. Ricardo's LinkedIn is down in the description below. Liana's LinkedIn and Twitter is down in the description below, as well as right here on my damn screen.
Thank you.
So, saying that, I love you all. You were all amazing. This has been an amazing episode. And I will definitely see you all next week when we come at you live once again, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Take care. Have a good one and enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, guys.
Take it easy.